joined by Eylon Levy, who is the former Public Diplomacy Directorate of the Office of the Prime Minister of Israel, live with us from Hostage Square. That's exactly where hundreds are waiting for the release. Mr. Levy, what is happening there?
Scenes of jubilation and excitement. This square has been packed since before sunrise, with Israelis who have come to watch live coverage of the surviving hostages still in Gaza. People are singing, people are jumping for joy, people are crying with happiness, because this is a moment that we have been fighting and dreaming of for 2 years already. 7 of the hostages have already been released. They're now in Israeli territory, and we're now waiting for the remaining hostages to be released from Hamas captivity, and everyone here is so excited to see them back.
You know, this is a big moment that we are covering live right now, and you know, this is also very important, Mr. Levy, because this deal serves as a model for other conflicts which involve hostages. And you're right over there. I'm sure that there are a lot of family members,
you're on
a
TV
lot of
in India.
people who have been waiting for years for this moment.
This is a historic day. President Trump was able to negotiate a deal, a ransom, for Israel to get the hostages back. And Israel is paying a very heavy price to get back the innocent hostages who were abducted from their beds and from a music festival. Israel is releasing hundreds of convicted terrorists, people who are the masterminds of suicide bombings, very dangerous people, to get the hostages back. But look, this crisis is not over, because the Hamas terrorist regime that started this war 2 years ago with the October 7th massacre is still standing. It still has its weapons, it still has its tunnels, and it is launching a brutal crackdown in the Gaza Strip now, where it is executing opponents on the streets. If we're going to have peace, we need the full implementation of the Trump plan. It means Hamas must be disarmed and Gaza must be demilitarized. Hamas hasn't agreed to that, but the whole world is on board with his plan to get this done diplomatically. And Israel hopes that this can be done the easy way and Gaza can be demilitarized, so that this will be the last Gaza war. And Hamas or Palestinian terrorists can never attack Israeli families again and never drag the region into war ever again.
Right. So you feel, Mr. Levy, that this ceasefire feels like a real step towards safety and it's not just a pause? Do you think it's really the end of the conflict that we have been seeing, Mr. Levy?
Well, this ceasefire, you're on TV in India, say hello. This ceasefire is the release of the hostages. That was one of Israel's major goals in this war that Hamas started. But the crisis is not going to end until Hamas is disarmed and demilitarized, or we're going to have another Gaza war in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years, and nobody wants that. Let's remember who we're dealing with. We're dealing with a jihadist terrorist regime that perpetrated the most barbaric atrocities, beheadings, burning people alive, rape, and they threaten to do it all over again, because their goal is to destroy Israel and to murder everyone in this country. So we're now giving the diplomatic option a chance to demilitarize Hamas peacefully. But Israel is saying, if that won't be done peacefully, then Israel is going to have to deal with the remainder of Hamas in the Gaza Strip so that it can't take more hostages in future.
Mr. Levy, you know, I just want to once again go back to where you are, because I want our viewers to understand where you are. This is a hostage square. Large screens have been set up where you are, large screens to display the hostage release. What is the latest right now? What are the large screens showing? We know that a lot of people have gathered where you are. Lots and lots of people have gathered where you are.
Let me tell you what Hostage Square is. Hostage Square is just the plaza in front of the Tel Aviv Art Museum. But for the last 2 years, it's been the scene of daily protests and memorials for the hostages and spontaneous gatherings for Israeli citizens who want to embrace the families and show them they are not alone. You know, Israel is a very small country of only 10 million people. And so this crisis affects everyone very personally. The hostages are household names. Everyone knows their names. Everyone knows their stories. Their families are household names as well. Everyone knows them. And what we're seeing on the screens now is live coverage of the hostages being released. we've had a last-minute surprise. Some of the hostages who are still in Hamas captivity were allowed to call their parents on FaceTime. So those parents waiting to get their children back received video calls of their children in captivity just a few hours before they're going to be released. The square is packed with people. This has been a scene of so much heartbreak for the last 2 years. And finally, Israelis are happy. You know, the world has said a lot of things about Israelis and what they wanted in this war, a lot of really nasty lies about Israel. When this is what the Israeli people have wanted all along. We just wanted to see the hostages home and to know with confidence that Hamas cannot take hostages ever again. That's all the Israeli people wanted.
Right, right. And the celebrations, I believe, Mr. Levy, celebrations, I believe, will last till the last hostage comes home. I'm sure the celebrations will last till then. What is Israel's plan after the last hostage comes home?
Well, look, let's get all the hostages home first. Because of the 48 hostages, you're on TV in India, of the 48 hostages, 20 are alive, 7 just came out, so it's only 13 hostages still there. But 28 hostages were murdered in captivity. And Hamas has been holding onto their bodies for a ransom. And Hamas is going to claim now that it can't find some of the bodies. And the hostage families believe that Hamas is going to hold onto the bodies. It knows you're on TV in India. That Hamas is going to hold onto some of the hostages. It knows where the bodies are to try to use them as bargaining chips in the future. So we need pressure on Hamas from the whole world to free all of the hostages. Not to pretend it doesn't know where the bodies are of some of the hostages it murdered. It needs to free all of the hostages, the living and the dead. The living need to come home to their families to begin a process of healing. And those who are dead, the families deserve a right to bury them and have the dignity of burial. Let me just see what is happening behind me. We have the first image of Eylon Levy greeting her husband, speaking to her husband, Omri. Omri is the father of 2 little daughters. He was abducted from his home on the morning of October 7th. Not a soldier, a civilian. The whole family was held at gunpoint on the morning of October 7th. He was abducted into the Gaza Strip. All we saw of him was from a hostage video from Hamas. And he's finally on his way to greet his wife and his 2 little daughters who have been waiting for 2 years to get their daddy home.
Yes. I think that the first hostages will be entering Israel as we are having this conversation, Mr. Levy. But what do the people of Israel feel about the 1,900 Palestinian prisoners which will be released in exchange? Is that a price too high? What does Israel feel about this?
Israelis know that we are swallowing a very bitter pill. Israel is paying a very heavy price for these hostages' freedom. Let's be clear what's happening now. This was not a diplomatic deal or diplomatic negotiation. Hamas took hostages, it held a gun to their heads, and it extorted Israel for a ransom. We are now releasing very dangerous terrorists. Many have blood on their hands. Yahya Sinwar, by the way, the former leader of Hamas, was released in one such hostage release. He was released for he was one of the ransoms for the release of an Israeli soldier in 2011. And then he became the commander of Hamas who perpetrated the October 7th massacre. So Israelis fear that these terrorists are going to go back to reoffending and to planning attacks against Israel because they belong to groups that hate Israel and want to destroy it. So Israel knows it's going to be a huge challenge to keep these people away from terrorism, to deter future crimes, to stop them trying to abduct more Israelis or blowing up buses. But Israelis feel we had no choice. We were blackmailed. We had to pay a ransom, but at least the hostages are home.
Right. Mr. Levy, you know, we're also showing pictures from the airport right now. These pictures are coming in from the airport as we see that Donald Trump has just arrived. We are seeing pictures coming in of Donald Trump right now. And speaking of Donald Trump has said that the Gaza war is over, and he will be addressing